All right, welcome to the Records Weekly Preview Show. This week we're going to get started right away with a game on Thursday, which is a big one actually. It's St. Joseph at the Florida School for the Deaf and the Blind. This is a major rivalry, actually the oldest rivalry in the county. Goes back 100 years or so. But anyway, the reason why this is a good game this time is because there's actually some intrigue, the possibility that FSDB can win. It's been a while. Last couple of years it hasn't been close. The games have been brutal blowouts. So FSDB actually beat them very badly in the spring, but that was a long time ago. But anyway, I think for both teams, FSDB's had a very, very good season. St. Joe has not really, but this is probably the game on their schedule that will really define the season, going forward.
Right. I did a little feature on FSDB about a month ago, I'd say. And I was inside the locker room talking to the head coach, Eric LaForce, and he has the schedule and the year-by-year records that they have against St. Joseph posted right in the coach's office. So I mean, they circle the game every year, and they're going to look forward to it. And I think they have a pretty good chance of winning. Obviously, it's easy to say when they blow them out that badly in the spring, but I think it's going to be an interesting game, a pretty high energy game.
Yeah, I used to think FSDB was going to win this no problem, but then some of the common opponents were a little disturbing.
Right.
FSDB lost to a couple teams that St. Joe really beat handily, so I don't really know what to expect, to be honest. I think none of us do, and that's what makes this game, as fun as it's been since I've worked here.
And one other wrinkle for FSDB is that they did have their game last week canceled due to storms, so we'll see if that has any effect in it, or they just get one more week to prepare for the Flashes. So find out.
And then we'll move on to our next game, which actually has no real intrigue, which is Ponte Vedra hosting Interlochen. Interlochen is 1-8, typically a very, very poor team, and coming into Ponte Vedra who's 8-1, and I guess it's just going to be, whether or not Ponte Vedra's backups can beat Interlochen, and by how many touchdowns. I say at least 4. So it'll be a nice day for guys like Reese Andrews and some of the guys who don't get a ton of playing time usually, for Ponte Vedra to step up and have some experience for the playoffs.
Yeah, Cole Mazza, the running back, Ponte Vedra, has well over 300 rushing attempts so far in the season. I'd be kind of surprised if he played into late into the second quarter of the game, not even the second half, just because, like you said, Interlochen, I believe one of their only common opponents that they've had is playing Ridgeview, and Ridgeview was a team that, just absolutely demolished Interlochen, but Ridgeview will only beat Palatka by, I believe, about 10 points this season, so kind of gives you an example of what this game is going to be like. So I think it'll be Ponte Vedra big, Ponte Vedra early.
Yeah, Ridgeview is actually St. Augustine's first round playoff opponent in 2 weeks, but we're not that far yet. So
till next week.
Yeah, a good transition. You're not there to do this on purpose, but Ridgeview actually heads to Menendez in our next game. I think Ridgeview, similar situation with the playoffs on the horizon, nothing to really play for. Probably not a lot of starters, past the first couple quarters in this game. Menendez, just a lot of injuries. They really haven't been able to stop anybody the second half of the season. And Ridgeview's got a very good quarterback in Josh Moore and a lot of offense. So this one will probably be a game that, Menendez might be able to get competitive, but I don't think it'll be against the first unit.
I don't think it's going to be quite, obviously not going to be quite as big of a blowout as the Ponte Vedra Interlochen game. But for Ridgeview, this is it's a scenario where they're going up against St. Augustine in the next week, so they don't want to be completely rusty, and they don't want to take the week off going into that game. So they're going to have to try out some things and make sure that they're building momentum into the postseason. They want to stand any chance against the Yellow Jackets. So I don't think they can actually just arrive to the game and expect to have whatever happens.
Yeah, well, a lot of injuries on Menendez's defense. Kind of what has hurt them really the most. So it'll be for them to not be rusty, like you said, but a much different opponent next week.
A little bit.
So our next game is, I think it's probably one of the more friendly rivalries around here, is Bartram Trail at Creekside. I thought at the beginning of the year might be the chance for Creekside. They had a lot of experience. Bartram had a lot of new guys, but looking at the way the schedule's played out, I don't see any way for Creekside to really keep up offensively in this game. It's always a spirited game because they're so close to each other, but it's never really been a nasty game, kind of like Ponte Vedra Creekside. It's one where the kids are all friends. A lot of them used to go to one school and things of that nature, had brothers who went to Bartram Trail and stuff like that. So I don't think this isn't one of those rivalry games that the guys really gotta get up for. I think they just play, and it doesn't mean too much on the schedule, but I think Barton Trail probably going to win pretty easily.
Yeah, once again, at this point in the season, we're looking towards the playoffs more than anything, and Barton Trail has to tune up for Columbia next week, and that's going to be a pretty tough game if they want to repeat the upset of last year's playoff run in a different point in the postseason. But regardless, I think it's going to be, like you said, it's a close rivalry. It's not really I was at the Barton Trail Creekside volleyball game last night, and they there wasn't too much animosity going on in the stands. I'm just gonna say that. So
there are a lot of friends. They play in the same club teams, Pop Warner, things like that. So it's actually a fun game to go to if you're interested in just seeing a nice football game. But I don't think Creekside's got the offense right now, and also happy to be in the playoffs. They're both happy about that. So it'll be just a friendly game, I think. And then the last one, which I guess is not as friendly as Palatka at St. Augustine, which actually, I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter this week about this being a rivalry, and I've worked here. It's my fourth full football season. It's never been even close. I know it was about 6 or 7 years ago, and they were actually the last district team to beat St. Augustine 9 years ago. But right now, Palatka, while better than the last couple of years, is not up to this level. So, it's nice to see some back and forth and maybe build something for the future, but I think they're getting a little ahead of themselves there.
Yeah, you said it. They've only time Palaka's beat, or the most recent time Palaka's beat St. Augustine was 9 years ago, 2003. So some of the players on Palaka's team were, what does that make them, from 6 to 8 years old is what we're talking about as far as
elementary school rivalry here.
Yeah, that's I understand that there's a rivalry as far as Palatka to St. Augustine. I understand this history between the two. Palatka's one of the state's most winningest teams. Is that correct? This is only my first year here, so I'm trying to learn all this on the fly. But you can't have a rivalry between a team who wins all the time and a team who wins none of the time. So.
Yeah, I think this rivalry hit its kind of apex when they were ranked 1-2 in the state. But like you said, I think some of those kids were probably at the game watching their,
Right.
fathers playing in it, so that's obviously an exaggeration. But you get the point that it's not something that's recent. And Palatka lost to Creekside, so if you're going to look at it that way, would St. Augustine lose to Creekside? Probably not. So I don't think that this is going to be a game that's a rivalry just yet, but it's nice to see some interest leading up to it.
And I will be out there at Palatka on Friday, so I'm excited to go out to one of these rural games, I guess you could say, bring me back to my Tennessee roots. So.
Yeah, Palaka's field is an experience, so looking forward to sending them out there. So that does it this week. As always, follow us on Twitter. We'll be at the St. Joe FSDB game as well, so Thursday and Friday, and on Facebook as well.